Okay, quick Monday morning radar update. First things first, I just wanted to do a quick update. Been really busy all weekend, just working through the members area in the website, having a few decisions to make on how I'm going to sort of share content as well. Any feedback would be welcome, but for those of you who are already members, I've basically got rid of all the drop down menus and just made sure all the links open in a new page so you don't lose your own page. But just the order, my whole methodology, the fundamentals I trade towards, tools and trend models, everything, technical analysis courses, everything's basically, I'm working my way through everything and just making sure everything is all tickety boo. Just a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more easier for the sort of newer member. For anyone who's interested in being a member, I would just say, just come over, try it for a month, see what it's all about. It's a pretty interesting time in the market for my style. So I'll just basically, I'm more of a trend trader in small to mid cap UK stocks, and obviously I do trade more liquid ones on a shorter time period. We do cover all US stocks as well, and I drop all my screens. We have a chat group. One thing people do tend to get a little bit confused with what I do. I get put out there as a technical trader, but no, I'm fundo technical sort of trader. I like to trade growth stocks, so I screen the whole market every day for growth stocks, and I share my whole process and how we get in, how we get out, how we avoid, getting beaten up in bear markets, and also, obviously I'm going to drop this on YouTube, so a little bit of interaction, a little bit more sort of maybe more regular with how I do my content. Any ideas on that, just let me know. I'm trying to make it a little bit more orderly, I think is the best word for it, and coming into a good market area, it's a good time to sort of come and have a look at what we do. Struggling a bit with my sort of Twitter. It's kind of dead out there, so I'm thinking of moving away from there and just focusing on my website content. And I've got a blog channel here where I just drop the odd video in, but I'm going to try and do something a little bit more regular for the public as well in there. So that's what I've been up to all weekend and most of last night as well, because I was up all night. Let's just have a quick look through today's market leaders, volume leaders. Market's acting pretty well. And the sun has just come out and I can't see the screens. So just give me a second here. Shut the blind. It's the only thing with having a garden office. The sun tends to creep in on you. So yeah, it's nice to see, small caps actually trying to come to life here. And we've said for, last week, small caps, and the week before, they've really started acting kind of how we like them to act. So we just need to see that rotation move into them and see some trends start to move out. Some markets obviously of note, obviously oil's still in a downtrend, even though the news, yes, it might base out and break trend here. Technically, it's still in a downtrend at the moment. That's my phone. And let's just have a look at that moving gold. Anyone who's a visitor to these updates knows that, efficient markets, gold being quite an efficient market, you're going to get your reward to risk from the mean trend area, this pullback. And, I'm rinse and repeat. Breakouts, pullbacks, breakouts, pullbacks. And what that does is, if you buy a pullback, you've already got a cushion before the product starts to consolidate. So if you are holding for an investment time period or a longer move, you've got a little bit of a cushion away from where you bought it. If you're buying a breakout, you've got a very good level of support. So I buy breakouts and I'll let the price come back in and do whatever. But it's just nice to have that good starting point. And, it's very clear on gold here. We had a little breakout here and it came back into that level there, didn't it? So, rinse and repeat. It really is all you need to sort. If you trade stocks, you're going to be trading breakouts and pullbacks. You want to be on that curve, not buying extended where there's no reward to risk. It is actually very simple, isn't it? But the hard bit is sitting on your hands and waiting for things to come into the station. Look at a few other markets. Obviously, we've got this zone of interest building on cable here. That's interesting, isn't it? Dollar bull came into mean trend. It's on its way back down. It might find its support here, and stabilize. But Bitcoin, I've just got the ETF on here. It's I'll bring up the actual. I know we're delayed on this one, but this is the zone of interest we talked about in the ShareScope tutorial. It made a test below there and popped back into it, didn't it? And yeah, I'd want to see some price action. It'd be great if it based out over here. This is what you want to look for get out of the volatility and get into the good action. We might be here, we might be in this area here, and it might want to do all this before it's ready to break out and pull back, and break out and pull back, and break out and pull back, and break out and then not pull back. So, you get lots of opportunity on these things. On the good ones, when you look back at the good ones, you always get multiple opportunities. So that's the good thing. Let's just jump straight into today's volume leaders and see what we can see. Oh, I'm missing homes under the hammer. Come on, ShareScope. It's quite an intense screen, this is actually. Looks for above average volume. I might just have to set it though. But it feels like it's a busy day because that took quite some time to order. So it's 11:30, so to be on average volume, we should have traded 41%. But to be on conviction, we should have actually traded about 60%. So we've got a lot of stocks on volume. These are ordered by volume today. And obviously some of these kind of Phoenix from the Flames type of setups, not of interest to me, but I'll just buzz through these in order of volume. Pebble Beach, was that Vislink? It was good to me in the past, Vislink, if that's the same one. Bill, obviously a GTRS leader at my site. It broke out of this kind of okay base and it's continued. It's not the kind of stock I'm sort of that keen on holding, but it's doing well, isn't it? You can't argue, I'll just gas in the tank. It's doing okay, isn't it? It's hard to argue with something what's 24 in my that's why it's but it's hard to argue that something's just gone up 100% in a straight line. When it comes to the fundamentals, growth stocks, this is what I teach, how to find quality growth stocks. And they're not all in the construction are usually not the kind of stocks I want to ride, but you can't argue with what makes a growth stock. Year on year earnings acceleration is good. earnings breakouts. When you get an earnings breakout, it's a meaningful thing. It's earnings is moving to a new level. Not traded in how many years, depending on your sort of threshold, and the growth is basically, it dictates. It basically it dictates the value. A lot of stocks have been beaten up at the moment, so a lot of stocks might dip into the growth area. But when you've got into the value area, but when you've got growth and value, the growth dictates the value, doesn't it? And price. Obviously, that's what it is. But the growth trend is a very important. You don't want to get caught in value without growth or the end of the growth cycle. You want to look for the beginning of a growth cycle. So you want to look for it to sort of done that reset and basically be ready to move again. This one had a lot of activity around here, and it did go through our list, but it's not. I like stocks where I've got a little bit more order to them, and in sort of sectors I like as well. But I'll trade anything if it's really ticks both the growth and the technicals I like. I always go back on this one as well because my mate paid his house off with this stock. I think it would have been back in this area as well. Fantastic. MGP, getting a bit there today. So this one here, it wasn't bad on our list actually. This one, it's a little bit down there, but it ticked the gas in the tank threshold anyway, which is a good thing. But yeah, it was kind of, it was getting quite orderly here where you want to see it, and then it gets looks like it's got a bid, so that happens. And sometimes you'll be in a trade and it will have everything you want of a potential outlier, and then it will go up 50%, and that's over. Then you go, yeah, a little short hit of sugar, but I was actually aiming for 200%, so that does happen. Biome Technologies, this is a lose, very slightly less scenario and a slight tick up on turnover. Moving on. The wind's ripping the blind. Just buzz through these. Sizzle, still got its sizzle on. A little bit of news on that one today. ADF. This one, did I put this on the? We saw one on Friday, and I said we need to look at that one. Yeah, it's trading towards an earnings breakout as well. 3.4 to 4.3, 2.8 to 4.3 on pre-tax, and 27 to 31, decelerating on the turnover, but it's a big move up. So, that's another one that's basing out. I don't know much about it. Recreational services. It was an IPO, and that's very common. We see, where's it gone? You see this basically IPO drift, don't you? And then the ones what are going to make it tend to sort themselves out in about sort of 12 to 18 months. It's very common in the IPO area. I said I'd do a quick video, but I always go off piste on tutorial mode. High on this one, so it was a reverse vol base. We had the pullback, didn't we, a few weeks ago, and it's moving up. Time finance, right side of a potential base, not an area I like to. Financials are not really my favourite area. that simple screen there will pick up all your stocks what are technically not in a they're technically trying to. I have a trend filter under there. Excuse me. So they are rising on at least a shorter time period. So it will show all the stocks what are up today on volume. So all the good news reports will be in that screen. The ones what are getting the good reaction. So that simple screen will pick them all. And you can pick whether you want to see them in an uptrend or downtrend. Obviously, I don't look at anything what's still in a downtrend for my time frame. Only look at things what are actually up on my time frame. So that's up and on volume conviction. There's a lot more than that in the list today, what are on average volume. So it's a pretty buoyant day. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Cheers all.
The FTSE overbought